Hey, in this video, I want to talk about what I plan to do to make money during the pandemic. So, in my last video, I said that until I gather 20 samples of one specific pattern, then I'm going to start trading penny stocks again. And while my plan to make money is to trade penny stocks. Now I have gathered 22 samples of one pattern. I also have the chart examples too to help me. So now I'm gonna take you to my Instagram and I'll also show you one chart example of the pattern that I'm going to be trading. Okay, so here's my Instagram, and this is the post. So I refunded my trading account with $1,500, and I'm just gonna read the caption. Okay. So I refunded my trading account with $1,500. Now, why would I do that after I made a challenge about a year ago to turn 1,500 into 40,000 by 4/22/20 and blew up my account because I preach about the scientific method, and I mentioned that I'm writing a book about how I overcame my anxiety that was preventing me from graduating college and getting a job by using the scientific method. So I know it works to solve my personal problems. It may not work right away, just as it took years for me to cure my anxiety. It may be the case before I am able to make a living as a trader, but that's no reason to get upset. Science has never failed me, so I know I will set myself free financially by applying the 7-step method. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. I have been posting my trade recaps on social media and writing down lessons I learned from each trade, but I blew up my account. Since I am not insane, I'm not about to trade again and do the same thing this time in my evaluation. Okay, so yeah, this is then what I explained. So I gathered now the 20 chart examples, and the pattern is the double bottom of overextended gap up. Okay, so I could show you one trade now, one chart example of this pattern. So TTC or TCCO, I said from the 34th week. And in this caption, I was saying that my double bottom pattern is on fire. Okay, so this is the chart. So basically, I'm noticing the pattern. This is on the 5-minute chart. So when a stock gaps up more than 75% pre-market, and here on this chart, the market opens at 6:30, and so you can see before that the gray bars, the volume is lower, so that's the pre-market time, and you can see it went from like 3 to over 6 pre-market, so that's over 100% gain pre-market. And then I notice if it can make over like a 70 or 75% gain pre-market, and then if the stock panics in the morning, like 20 to 30% from its high of day after the market opens. So in this case, it might have been like around, like it made a high of like 7 something, 710 maybe. And then it went back down, and then the double bottom pattern where I circled on the green chart, that's like the area where I bought, because you can see it had red candles and then the first green candle, and the bottom of those two candles were like at the same price basically. And so that's where I buy. And then also 50% of the pre-market spike was holding. So the basic criteria for this double bottom pattern is like 75% plus gain pre-market. After the market opens, if it dips like 20 to 30%, that's the second criteria. And then the third criteria, I can say if it holds about 50% of its pre-market spike. And then the other criteria is to make the red to green move on the 5-minute chart and a double bottom. So it looks something like the green circle area where I circled. And so in this case, my pattern didn't, it was like a little fake out. I ended up buying at like 540, and then I sold once it looked like it was gonna just break down. I sold at $5, but then you can see the red circle, that candle that I sold over there at the red circle. That's a hammer candle. When the price goes down and then right back up like that, that's considered a hammer candle, and that's bullish, and that usually tells you that there is an end of the downtrend, or that's the bottom of the downtrend. So anyway, I could have rebought again once after the hammer candle, but I didn't. I ended up rebuying again at the green circle after I can tell that the short sellers were in pain. Because if the short sellers shorted, let's say at $7 or the high sixes over here, and they didn't cover their position yet, or if it after it spiked back up and they tried to reshort at like let's say at 650, and then it went, and then it made like a high of $9. So those short sellers, they're getting squeezed now. So that's when I bought at the green circle. I figured any short sellers, they should be covering now if they shorted before it made a new high of day. And then I ended up selling there. So this is just one chart example of my double bottom pattern. So far I have 22 chart examples. They're not all on my Instagram page, and I'm not gonna review all of them. So this is just an ideal chart example of the pattern that I'm gonna be looking for now that I refunded my account. And so I'm gonna only trade this pattern because so far, for all the other patterns I know, I don't have 20 chart examples. I have only 20 chart examples of this double bottom pattern. Okay, and I also said that the double bottom pattern in another post should fit my unicorn pattern. And so my unicorn pattern, it basically Let me see. So it's in this video where I said the 3 criteria of my unicorn pattern. Let me see if it'll play. Things that make okay. A penny stock spike like this big like my unicorn. I just did this to help me remember the right pattern. There. Okay, so the 3 things are: the stock needs to have big news, the stock needs to have some float rotation, and record high volume. So now let's get into that. Wow. Now, do I look fabulous or what? Okay, that is all. And then, so this video, it was kind of a joke too, but I'm serious about the criteria of the unicorn pattern. So the 3 criteria is the stock should have big news, float rotation, and record high volume. I could leave a link in the description of this video to this YouTube video where I explain the unicorn pattern. So anyway, my double bottom pattern should fit, also it should fit those 3 criteria. It should have big news, float rotation, and record high volume. Okay, and this is kind of the ideal chart of how the pattern should look. And that's the end of the video.